So the Ghana National Fire Service has issued deadlines to a number of fuel stations in Accra to upgrade their safety measures or be shut down. The warning was issued after an inspection of the stations revealed that their fire safety measures were not adequate. The inspection comes just about a month after the June 3 explosion at the Goil filling station, which killed about 100 people. And Odame has filed the following report. Well, now we'll bring you that story in a bit. We'll bring you that story in a bit, but let's look at some things that have got to do with air travels, domestic air travels, that is. Both passengers and operators in the aviation sector have cautioned recent introduction of a 17.5% tax on domestic airfares would prove counterproductive to efforts to grow the sector. The tax introduced by the Ghana Revenue Authority effective July 1 has increased the fares by that percentage. Though the operators have argued against it, they say they have no option but to levy passengers until the GRA advises otherwise. Derek Akosam has more.
The implementation of the tax followed the presidential assent granted the Parliamentary Act on December 30, 2013. The domestic flyers who for years have seen air travel as the easiest and most comfortable way to transact business and attend to personal issues are not amused. But despite the fare increase, they insist air transport will still be their first option.
Yeah, at the end of the day, as far as that is taking money out of my pocket, you don't expect me to be happy. So definitely I'm not happy. But what my understanding is that has to do with VAT. I mean, when they keep on increasing, it definitely is going to affect people that are going to use the route.
Apparently it's not, because when I inquired from the service provider, I was told there's an increase in VAT that has made the fares go up. So I don't know if the government can do something about it for us.
They'll be taxing you on a ticket. It's very wrong for government to do. It's a very wrong. Seriously, I'm not happy by the word about the words I'm using, because I can't even talk because I'm very angry.
They, however, believe a scrapping of the tax will be appreciated.
To help more people to travel, because maybe I can afford, but there may be others who will also want to travel on the same way, but because of the increase, they'll have to look for an alternative.
They should even bring the price down even to the level that, you know, internationally, how people will accept it. They should look at what's the name of the international patrol.
We need to look at the affordability. How many people, looking at the current economic challenges that we're facing in the country, if we keep on increasing, how many people are going to fly? You know, gradually it's deterring people from flying.
Their cry for a decrease has received the backing of James Eric Entry, the Chief Executive Officer of Domestic Operator Stabo.
Either of them is good. Either total suspension will be great, why not? But the reduction too will also be appreciated, yes. Well, initially it's maybe about 5-10%. Between 5-10% is okay, but 6 or 7.5% is a hoping, you know, is big. It's big, looking at it. And then for the passenger too, it's such a big increase. And I don't know, the choice of flying, I mean, would be something like you have to be able to afford it from the very top. You know, now the people down there who were also experiencing, enjoying the flights, some of them may not be able to afford again.
Mr. MP explains why the tax introduction comes at a bad time. He tells Joy News not even their latest offer of buy 4 tickets, get 1 free can save his company from losing customers, as has been the case in the last 2 years.
Well, we have things for our, passengers, the frequent flyer passengers. We have introduced what they call the buy 4, get 1 ticket. Although we all do it, but hey, they are the frequent flyers. Those people, they always fly anyway because that's their business, because of their businesses. But those ones who come in once in a while to try, they are the people that we concern, because they would probably stop coming, or maybe they won't be coming as often as they would have wished. It's a problem.
And I'm sure that would have a toll on you.
Yes, that is our major concern. Our major concern is to stay in business. We hope that people will be in a position to buy the tickets so we can also stay in business. We hope that the economy will stabilize so that people will have jobs to do. They can also afford to travel by air or move around freely with our aircrafts. This is what we are praying for.
The passengers also believe having a state-owned airline is the way to go now. From the Kotoka International Airport, Derek Akosam, Joy News.
The chief executive of Stanbic Bank says calls by the central bank for commercial banks to discourage trade in foreign currencies as a measure to help the cedi appreciate is out of place. The central bank is putting measures in place to help the cedi gain value. Alhassan and Dani explains commercial banks are only a pass-through agent and therefore cannot do much to help the cedi.
The story about this foreign exchange actually is a two-way story. It's a supply and a demand story. When we talk exchange rates, people only concentrate on the demand side of it. Can you imagine that if suddenly there was capacity in this country for some, economic agents to export goods and services, how much wealth they would generate in dollars? You get what I'm saying? So whilst everybody would be complaining about the impact of the exchange rate on the supply side, we as banks, and we sit down here, who is out there with the potential, that we can help to roll in a lot more dollars so he can be rich in cedis. But back to the question as what can banks do? We banks are basically pass-through agents that, you deposit dollars, you come back for your dollars. You deposit cedis, you come back for your cedis. You borrow dollars, you pay back in dollars. Or if you borrow dollars and you have a currency mismatch, we've agreed with you how we are managing that mismatch. So it's a larger and broader economic conversation we should have in Ghana, and to say how much of our total expenses or requirements in this country can we localize?
Well, let's do some sports news when we return. Don't go away.